I want to preface this by saying the Seattle Mariners may very well not make the playoffs. But if they do, and if everything comes together, this team may very well have the best chance to win the World Series outright since 2001. Drew Albaugh here on the NW Sportscast. The Seattle Mariners, a precarious situation. You look before the All-Star break, ahead of that 17-game stretch that could have made or break the season. The Mariners were hovering right around 500. A myriad of different teams at that point were all in the wild card race. And the Seattle Mariners were nowhere close to the Astros for the division. If you go maybe 7-10 there, 6-11, all of a sudden, the Mariners might not be buyers. But you capitalize on those 17-game stretch. Then out of the break, you've done all right to float, kind of stay above water as well. Now you grab Josh Naylor and you're certified buyers. And that matters a lot. Because how much longer is the window going to be? If now, then when? That's what I say. It's always next year. It's always, we gotta be reasonable for the year after that. I'm not saying that we should trade 5 of our top 10 prospects. I'm not saying we should trade any of our top 10 prospects. Heck, if Harry Ford is on the team in a couple of weeks, I love Harry Ford. I think that'd be just fine. Now, do I think there should be a piece if he's utilized in a certain way to get a bat for the major league team? Of course I do. But I understand worrying about the future. At the same time, I understand that now is now, and if not now, then when. Sometimes you gotta worry about the car payments later and take the kids to Disneyland because they're only kids once and they haven't been and they're 9 years old. That happens in life. And in this situation, the Mariners have to pounce. This is the moment. This is the time. You're not going to get Cal Raleigh hitting 50 home runs again. And he could hit 60. Who knows? He hit his 40th yesterday. You're not going to have this nucleus of starting pitching. And I don't care if they're injured. I don't care if they're not playing well. These starter pitchers have the upside of being the best rotation in the entire league. And you know and I know how the playoffs work. You really only need a 4-man rotation in those 7-game series. When you're getting to the wild card, you only need 3. Right? So you look at it from that lens, with that context, you need 4 healthy starters that are playing good baseball at the end of the year. Bryce Miller throwing bullpens down in Tacoma. Who knows? He could be back. Less than a year ago, he was a borderline Cy Young candidate. You want to bet against that guy? Brian Wu made the All-Star team. You keep going. George Kirby struggling. I don't doubt George Kirby is going to figure it out. This is the guy that has consistently shined in the biggest moments throughout his entire season. And then you look at a guy like a Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo. Again, Luis Castillo having himself a good season. Gilbert, on the other hand, not as much. But if your position is that the Mariners shouldn't go all in because of Logan Gilbert, I would like to rewind the tape 4 months and have you say that in the beginning of April, and you sound like a doofus, and you still are, because Logan Gilbert will and has been figuring it out. The Mariners have to pounce, and if you get a guy like Eugenio Suarez, all of a sudden Polanco's batting down in the 7th spot. That is an absolutely fantastic place to be. I will have Polanco hitting 7th all day long. You protect Cal Raleigh with not just Josh Naylor, but also with Eugenio Suarez. You got JP and Julio at the top of the lineup. That is the best offense the Mariners have had in 10 years. The best offense since the Robbie Cano, Nelson Cruz day where you couldn't really pitch. And there wasn't many guys outside of that top 5, maybe 6 batters. This is the deepest team. This is the team with the most upside. And Fangraphs has the Mariners at a less than a 4% chance to get and win the World Series. And if the Mariners put it together and they go swinging, and they get a bullpen guy, they get a Eugenio, all of a sudden, you're looking at not only the best Mariners team since, by my account, 2001, you are looking at a Mariners team that is clicking, that has the pieces to go all the way. There is not 1-year-old Julio Rodriguez. No, he's been in the majors now for a couple of years, 3 years or so. There is not the Jared Kelenics of the world holding you back. You got guys like Cal Raleigh. You're relying on legitimate major leaguers. With the bases loaded, Josh Naylor steps up to the plate. Are you kidding me? Eugenio Suarez, you bring back the good vibes. The vibes are already good, and you bring back the man who created good vibes only. There is a legitimate case to make that this is the moment that Jerry and Justin have to strike right now. Because if not now, then when? And that's a legitimate thought. And I'm not saying sell the farm. I like the farm as much as the next guy. They're, the best in the majors for an entire reason. And by the way, this is a separate conversation, but I think that Mariners fans have to give all of the development, all of the scouting, as well as Justin and Jerry, more credit about how they draft. And I understand that it's not necessarily as flashy as maybe the NFL or the NBA, but it is just as, if not more important. You got to fill out 4 more teams when you look at the minor leagues. And they have done an excellent job at that. They've done an excellent job at building for the future. And before you go off and say, fire Jerry, fire Justin, well, let's just slow our rolls there. You don't know how that's going to affect the rest of the coaching staff. You don't know how that's going to affect the player development, scouts, all of that. And they've done an excellent job at drafting. Now the flip side of the coin, the catch-22. They have not brought this team to the ALCS. That's a fact. They have not won a game in the DS. That's a fact. They have not won a game at T-Mobile Park in the playoffs. That is also a fact. It's been a long time. They have made the playoffs 1 time. That's a fact. In a league where almost half the teams make the playoffs, you've made the playoffs 1 time. And I understand the constraints. I understand John Stanton isn't giving you all the money you want in the world. But at some point, does that become an excuse? And at some point, do you go, we're swinging? Not in 2026, not in 2027, but in 2025. This is our moment. This is the time when the stars align. And if you go out and get Eugenio Suarez, are you favored to win the World Series? Of course not. Is there a way better chance that everything blows up in your face than you make the World Series, that you make the ALCS? Heck, you make the playoffs? Of course. But life and sports is about chances. Everything is a calculated risk. And at some point, you can't sit on your hands and wait for stuff to happen to you. Sometimes you got to get out of bed, get up, get dressed, get in the car, and go make something happen. Put it into your control, your destiny. No one great in life got there from sitting around. Even the people I don't respect, even the people that are in power across the country and in the world. Not great guys a lot of the time, but they're not sitting idly by. They've gotten into that position because they've controlled their future. And are there other circumstances? Are there luck involved? Yes. But you gotta put yourself in positions to get lucky. And that's my point. The point of this video is saying this is the time for the Mariners to put themselves in a spot to get lucky. All right? You look at the Diamondbacks. They were not the second best team, yet they made the World Series. Did they win it? No. But you put yourself in a spot. You don't think you make the World Series, that's considered a win? Of course, the end goal is to win it all, but the Mariners have never been to the World Series. That's a Diamondbacks team that won less than the Mariners that year, but they put themselves in a position at the deadline to make something happen, and newsflash, they got a little lucky. So there you go. You got to put yourselves in a position to get lucky, and the rest will figure it out. This is the NW Sportscast, and this is the moment for the Seattle Mariners to strike. Go prove it, Justin and Jerry. Go prove it. This is your chance. No more waiting. Once again, if not now, then when? Thanks so much, everybody. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. It really does help out the engagement on the channel, and I will see you guys later. As always, this is Drew Albaugh saying so long and goodbye, and go Mariners.